Hello YouTube, Red to Green here again with another recap. Today is January 20th, 2022, and I'm up over 100 bucks. I'm up $102. 2, 4, 6, 8 stocks traded today. $102.74. Let's go over some of the trades. Today was actually a difficult day. I'm kind of tired. It's 3:30, almost 3:30 p.m. I didn't trade a pre-market. I didn't trade market open. I was late. I started trading around, let's see, when was my first trade executed? Give me a second. My first trade was executed at 10:40. So that's when I started at 10:45. So hour and 15 minutes after market open. That's when I took my first trade. And my first trade was on Tesla, because I didn't see anything moving, but Tesla was kind of ripping, and I took 3 shares of Tesla, and you see I was up 88 cents on it. Nothing crazy. Then I traded CISO. CISO wasn't a bad trade, but it was 125 shares from 96 to 14, so not a lot of money, $21 on it. And pretty much after that, I traded APRN and DWAC. And DWAC, it's a special case for me, so let's go over DWAC first. I was down almost 40 bucks on it at some point, and now I'm only down 26 on it. So the P&L swing on DWC was kind of insane, and I started to trade it around obviously at 10:45. So you see this push in volume. That's why I got in. That 5-minute volume, that's exactly why I got in, and it punctured through the VWAP. It was nice setup. I was actually watching it. I wasn't expecting for it to go that high. But it did, and I was kind of scalping it, and surprisingly, right, it was such a large move. I'm down on the stock, and I still feel like there's a gap with my trading system, and the scalping, and you scalping that momentum between the spreads, and obviously that's what DWAC is scalping between the spreads, and that's why I got burned. And sometimes when you get lucky on the runner, you get paid pretty well, like $2 maybe, but still not well enough, because those losers, those 60-80 cents fishing trades, right, that you take 10 of them, you're almost down $10 just to break even. And sometimes when the stock flushes against you, 25 shares, right, you could be down 50 bucks easy, no problem. 60, 70 bucks, 75 bucks. Just for fishing, for nothing that's moving in your direction. Whether when you trade stock like DATS or SOFI today, those were, it's only cost you at least 1 cent. Sometimes you even break even. So, it give you guys a kind of perspective of how the different stocks move, and for different techniques and different strategy, obviously you have to have certain type of stock. So anyway, I am still learning. I did mention it during my live stream that I'm still learning how to trade large caps, and DWC is not really a large cap. It has a small float, but it does act like there's a huge spread on it. It's pricey, right? And overall, just kind of give you a perspective of what I'm doing, and that's why I traded Tesla too, just to get a hang of that, getting used to those type of moves. APRN was also on the list. APRN kind of popped. I remember APRN popped, and I was hoping it's going to pop into the halt because of that volume here, and I don't remember where I scalped it. I think around this area, 860 into the 915, 918. Yeah. So APRN, again, there's not a lot of confirmation moves. Pretty much break even on it. Nothing to really write home about, but green nonetheless. BBIG is the next up. BBIG. That was obviously a sympathy momentum stuff, and I did well on BBIG pretty much all this week. I'm up over $300 on it now. I don't know, 250 or something. So yeah, definitely a good scalper stock. It definitely gives you that good momentum push sometimes, and it actually respects the setups. That's what I like to say. So there were nothing really, not a specific area on BBAG, just the same old boring scalping the pullbacks and getting in on that momentum pushes, and just kind of seeing that overall how the stock performed. And then once it bounced to the VWAP, it kind of showed you that strength, and you see the volume came in around 1140, 1130, and now the break of that previous mid high right here, right at 425. There was some setups there. So scalped it, not a lot of movement too for me. I was kind of distracted back and forth today. I was surprised I even traded today. So yeah, $14 on it, not much, but it is what it is. CISO was actually a popper. It popped, and I was actually hoping it's gonna halt. I don't remember where the halt was. I believe I brought it up to a live feed where I think I saw a halt. It was moving up. It was like 507, and then it moved up for I don't remember exactly, but it was kind of moving up, and it was a good opportunity to pop from 508 into that 530, 534. So definitely, and we talked about it, right? If you have that fast feed platform where you can see all the level 2 details and you're used to that, you obviously could have scalped that. Now keep in mind the market hasn't been as fast right, in the past. So in the past, 2 months now, almost 2 months, and just I don't know, it's those you can't just sit there and wait for those stocks to come in and you trade them. Whether before you almost saw them every day. So we did the WAC. So that's the big one. So the interesting part about that, I traded it after 1040. I don't know if I traded it at 1030 here, but I was kind of scalping it. So I was up on it $33 or $30 or something. And I gave some of that back trying to scalp this range and then the flushes. And I was trading this ascending support line. I was hoping it's just going to rip again through 4. And it's just never, it didn't happen for a really long time. And, if it doesn't happen for a while, it's costing me money to fish. So it was actually, I was tapping into the profit. And along that, I traded SOFI, okay? And SOFI was also not successful. I couldn't read that stock. It was very jumpy. It didn't move. And keep in mind, I started trading that late. I started trading it after lunch, so around 12:31 p.m. And I was kind of also distracted, and I was done with kind of my errands around 2 o'clock. And that's when I kind of started watching DATS. And in the back of my mind, I was sitting here. It was like, I think it was 2 o'clock. And I was like, a power hour, and it might move. It might move in power hour, because it does happen in some of those low floaters, or when there's not a lot of movement during the day. Sometimes there's like a slight, like last relief of momentum before the sell off. And to my surprise, it did happen, and I was there to capitalize on it. And I traded from the 80s into the 4. And once I saw that 245 candle, that it starts popping, and I thought it's going to bounce at 391, and it wasn't bouncing, I got in. I was trading 250 shares, and sometimes I took like 2 orders once I saw the strength in the stock. And then break of 4. That was a difficult trade. I was actually scalping the pullbacks, the micro pullbacks on that break of 405 into the 409. 5 cents here, 5 cents there. Overall $96. And then once I saw that the 410 or 415 wasn't breaking, I just and by the way, my psychological number was $100 today because I was hovering around. I started with $84, and then I went down to 74, and then I went down to, wasn't it like 20 or even less? So I gave back $60-70 of my profits, and then I came back again to 60, and then I lost money in SOFI, and then I started giving back on DATS by fishing, and just it wasn't looking good. So thankfully DATS pulled me out of that hole. I think I was about to close it at like $34 because I stopped streaming at 55. I was up 55. That's when I stopped streaming, and I just continued watching because I thought it was done. But like I was watching with my right eye the stocks, and then I saw that volume and momentum, and I was like, in the back of my mind, I thought, that last hour it might push. So it happens a little bit earlier before the power hour, but that's expected, right? There's nothing really precise in this market, so just gotta sit there, boringly wait for something to happen. Unfortunately, if you're in that situation, if you're up 20 grand within 30 minutes of the market open, okay, yeah, shut it down, go spend some time with your family. Look at that sell off on DATS. That's that last relief push, right? And then sell off. So anyway, that's that. And then LAZR, LAZR, I traded that early because I think that's one of the first trades I took. So first time I took LAZR was 11.50. So that's when I traded LAZR. I traded LAZR from 11.50 up until 12. So I traded it for 10 minutes. So right here, this is where I traded LAZR. That break right here, I actually like the setup, right? So the setup we're looking at right here, looking good. And then what you do is you wait for that break of 88, and it does happen, and hopefully it doesn't break that low, right, of 70, and it didn't. So I think I fished here. It was kind of very indecisive, so being cautious, I got out. Probably was negative, and then as soon as I saw this thing popping over 90 and 87. So you just basically start getting in, and not a lot of shares, but nonetheless, it's $30, $31 on it. So it's a good opportunity. It's a good scalping opportunity, right? You have 500,000 shares of volume on a $16 stock, and I believe the float was high on it. I remember, yeah, it was moving very weird, but it was doable. Surprisingly, it was doable. And I mentioned that during the live stream. Some of those larger float stocks are moving better than some of the low float, because when we are in this stagnant time. So anyway, last stock I want to talk about is SOFI. And SOFI, wasn't it yesterday as well? Yesterday I was up $30 on it. I kind of was able to read it, but I think my issue with SOFI, bulk of the volume, right, was at the first 2 hours, hour and a half, which makes sense, right? But I started trading at 4:45, right? I mean 10:45. That's when we actually peaked at the high, and that's when we started consolidating, and then broke that peak again, and then sold off, right? We saw the sell off. Bounce of a VWAP was a nice area, but that break of 1590 wasn't good. So if you're a short seller, it would have been a W setup or a head and shoulders here. Perfect head and shoulders setup on 5 minute. So if you're trading by the book, here's your book right here. You would have just started shorting here, probably shorting right before it start going through anticipation and micro pullback maybe, and then so definitely a book trade right here, right? And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so this is the stock I was actually up on at some point, and then I lost money, and I was down only like $9 or $3. I something very minimal, and then me being me, I saw these kind of breaks, right, the spikes, and it was odd too. It was one of those, you see the spike and you see the volume, but then usually when you see that initial spike with the volume, there's there's a slight continuation of that volume because people are getting in, you know. And then I didn't see it, right? It was kind of like, you see that false breakout on the next push of 1605, and then I was kind of waiting this pullback, and I think that's where I was trading. I made some money there, but then I tried to fish here for another pullback for a 1 minute setup for anticipation, right? I got in here, didn't work. I got in here, didn't work. I got in here. It's like, okay, it's working. I'm trading it. I think I even added in here. And then if you look at this 2 1 minute candles here, the high is 1608 and this one's 1609. So that's a false breakout by 1 penny. Okay, and it just flushed and I got out. So I think I was even break even, but because of fishing on the previous candles, I was red. And I was kind of anticipating this, you know, and I keep repeating this, and it's happening to me all the time. I was thinking it's going to happen, right? And it was looking like it was going to do it, right? Because there's definitely this supports building up right here, and the candle looked decent. It was kind of like curling up. Yeah, those wicks are not looking good, but it's okay. It just, you know, it doesn't mean anything because the bottoming wicks were kind of small. But anyway, it doesn't. Not necessarily, it's not 100% guarantee just because it's like that, but I like the whole curl look to it. And then look at that bottoming wick here in this candle. It surely looked like it's going to open up and shoot through the 1610 into that 1615 area. Didn't happen, obviously, right? But I think that's where I kind of started losing money on it, because it sold off. Then there's a bounce again right here. You know, and I'm kind of, I think I was trading the volume pops on it, but I couldn't get a read on the stock. I couldn't. Every time it moved, it actually sold. The volume spikes did not respect. So I don't know if those are algo traders or not. They look like it, because definitely the retail traders, probably too late for them. And a lot of people got burned on SOFI because it's easy to borrow. I believe also on... yeah, it is easy to borrow on E-Trade, not E-Trade, Thinkorswim. And obviously, there's a good potential for squeeze. And, you know, me being me, started late trading. Obviously, I missed all of that move. And when you're on the backside and you're trying to scalp for that momentum pushes, it's hard. And that's the result today, $47 on it loss. So that's... me being up $80 and I lost 50 here. I was only up $34, and before I left I was up 55 on live stream, but then I kept trading. I was down 34 and almost 26 at some point, and then until DATS came about. So that's the day today, guys. Stay tuned for the evening. Click a thumbs up button. It does help me a lot. We slowly but surely growing. It's slower than I wanted to, because we used to get at least one subscriber a day. Now we're kind of averaging less than that a day. So I'm hoping, guys, you like these recaps and you like the videos. I'm gonna continue doing them. It's and I talked during the live stream too, and Ski, Clive, and everybody. I know Jeff is also watching live videos. So appreciate you guys actually joining and supporting me and clicking the thumbs up. Definitely, whoever else is watching, come join us. You know, not for everything, but sometimes you can just peek in, say hi. If you have any questions, you know, if you like my trading style, if you're thinking about this kind of trading style, I suggest you watch it. I think it's pretty good. I mean, obviously I can't say bad about my stream, but I mean I can. I feel like it's not a lot of content that's teaching that, and a lot of things are paid, meaning they do teach it, but they actually want you to pay for it. So utilize this free resource. There's a couple other traders, and come join us for the evening sessions. Was your favorite choice of beverage, and we're just we're doing a review and everything. So anyway, guys, have a good one. Talk to you later.